Hopefully this doesn't go out again. Hello, people of YouTube. I'm here to talk to you about a wonderful form of spirituality. One that I almost missed out on because of stereotypes. I'm not fully immersed in this because I have not been to a temple yet. I have only read certain passages, but when it comes to the core beliefs, away from all the superficial things that people add into religion, I somewhat consider myself a part of this religion. It is very flexible. It's very open to how you see God. And to be honest, it really doesn't even make you believe in a God. But a lot of them do. I, of course, am talking about the wonderful spirituality of the Sanatana Dharma, known to most people as Hinduism. Hinduism, let's go over a few facts here. It has no founder, no known founder. The word Hindu is actually a mispronunciation of Sindhu, which I might even be mispronouncing, and forgive me, people of that area. I don't mean it. I just probably got it wrong. Most of you know, I'm very interested in writing and stories. And like a lot of people interested in those kind of things, I, as I got older, kind of also became interested in mythology. And I really love the stories, you know, from the Greeks and the Romans and the Egyptians. And then, of course, came the Hindu gods. The thing about it is, well, yes, there are Roman pagans out there, and Hellenic pagans, and all that. If you notice, in society, well, there's more than these, but for the most part, in the media, you know, the movies and entertainment, the only ones they really talk about a lot that's not Abrahamic, and it's kind of pagan-like or Dharma type religions, are Buddhism and Hinduism. Maybe occasionally Tao and stuff like that, but yeah. And so it's one of the more known religions that aren't Abrahamic. But yes, like I said, there are people who do practice the older pagan religions, so I'm not saying that they don't exist. Just want to get that out of the way. But yeah, I've studied up on religions and mythology, and so this one's kind of, you know, in between. It's not very known what it's truly about for a lot of people. You know, a lot of Westerners, but it's not very very unknown either. It's kind of in the middle, but it does carry its stereotypes, you know, like the three other major religions. But that can be for a whole another video. I really liked the stories behind the gods and the images of the gods, which I will show you in a minute. But there are stereotypes attached to this religion, like every other religion, just like I mentioned. Sati is a big one. There are many people who believe that when a Hindu woman dies, she is to burn herself at her husband's funeral. And even I, as a person who's never been to a Hindu temple, has only read certain passages, knows that makes no sense. If they're going by the story that you're supposedly going by. I'm gonna run through the story pretty quickly, because I'm not all that good with details. Shiva is the destroyer. He has other aspects too, but for the most part he's known as the destroyer in the Hindu Trinity. I don't remember if he was married to or dating Sati, but basically what happens is Sati's father does not approve of him. So, feeling dishonored and everything else, she decides to basically kill herself. She burns herself. And so Shiva, in despair, basically carries her body around the universe. You know, he's just carrying her dead body. And it might have been Vishnu who kind of like shot this arrow at her and made her into ashes. I believe Shiva has ashes on him, and it's because of Sati's body. And of course, later on, she is reincarnated into Parvati. So that part there does not make any sense. Why? The part about widows burning themselves? Why? Because Shiva was not dead. In order to be a widow, you have to have a dead husband. So, not even the Hindus can use scripture or stories or anything like that to justify the practice of sati, because Shiva wasn't dead. If anything, yes, she did commit suicide, basically over the dishonor of her husband. But if anything, the fact that, you know, Shiva was in such despair over his loss of her, that he carried her corpse around the universe. Kind of more shows a husband's dedication. That's how I interpret it. And I didn't know that at first. You know, you just hear about these fucking widow burnings. And then, I mean, I got into Wicca, and, you know, they're kind of open to using different types of gods. So, you know, I was just looking into the deities and not really of, you know, the Hindu religion. Until I got talking to a girl online who called herself a Vedantist, I think. And she kind of more explained about the equality of men and women, about the openness of Hinduism, that you don't have to always follow this god or that god, or believe this god is above others. And you really don't have to believe in a god at all, which I found very interesting. There are also many similarities between Hinduism and Wicca. Basically, Wicca borrowed from Hinduism. Maybe a few religions borrowed from Hinduism. I was reading Hinduism. No, I think it was The Idiot's Guide to Hinduism. And if you ever read these Idiot's Guide books, I have one on Wicca. I really like them because they really break things down. I guess that's why it's called The Idiot's Guide. And, you know, it's really good because they just don't give the "this is just how it is" kind of thing. There is usually more explanations to the beliefs. I really liked when they talked about the concept of the afterlife. I guess you would say they covered sin in a way, sin, the afterlife, karma, and basically what it said is, for the majority of the part, because this religion is very vast, many Hindus believe that when it comes to the afterlife, what most Christians would see as heaven and hell, and sin and all that, doesn't always totally revolve around God. Not that they don't believe in God, but they believe you are responsible for your actions. And how can I explain this without having the damn book by me? Most believe in reincarnation or rebirth. Okay? I guess you would say rebirth. And when you're finished learning all your lessons and paying for whatever you did, basically, one day you will merge with God. Some believe you totally merge. Others believe that you retain some individuality. I believe the latter. We were all made from God, so we must have a part of God in us, but I believe we are still somewhat separate. God is the creator. So, what it was saying is, if you wanted to use the terms heaven and hell while practicing Hinduism, heaven and hell are more states of mind that you put yourself in based around your actions and your karma. Your actions basically create your karma in some ways, or I guess in a lot of ways. To them, God doesn't always really have to punish you because you do it to yourself. It's not that God doesn't exist or watch over us, but you can see it in everyday life. It's like your parents or anybody that's older than you. They don't always have to get at you about things you do, because sometimes life just does that. God is our mother and father. That's my belief. And so, while God and Goddess, the All, are there to guide us, we have to make decisions on our own. And the reactions of the world around us and the people around us, what we do, what our actions do, affect them and their reactions. So, the parent doesn't always have to step in. Not that they're not there, but sometimes things happen on their own. And most people believe that God always has a plan in this. And yes, he probably does. He probably set that up, so we learn lessons. Just because somebody isn't there holding your hand doesn't mean they're not guiding. Just kind of my view on that. So yeah, I really did like the concept that there's no eternal heaven or hell. That you go through lives learning your lessons. Of course, I like the idea that God is seen as both male and female, and if I remember right, the energy of God is usually seen as female, which is known as Shakti. And the female gods are pretty powerful, like Durga and Kali. I may even one day get into specific videos about them. But I love the fact that they can be a nurturing mother and also a great warrior. There's a story where the male gods cannot defeat a demon, so they call upon Durga to defeat this demon. So it's really not as sexist of a religion as one may seem. That's more due to culture, and as far as I know, even Indian culture wasn't always like that. So that's one thing we got to remember, to separate religion and culture, because sometimes people tie them together, and what a culture does may not be what they always have done, and it's not what the religion around it does. I'll probably make a video on the deities themselves, but I'm going to show you two of my favorite ones. I got this poster from Amazon, and that is Ganesh. Ganesh is the son of Shiva and Parvati. He is the remover of obstacles, and I believe the god of wisdom. Kali is also Shiva's wife, but she's kind of a part of Durga, who is also a part of Parvati, who was Sati. Did you get all that? Because I'm still learning. And yes, she has a gruesome image, but it's not what people think. She's actually a loving mother who is here to cut away our ignorance. And she will definitely be mentioned in my other video because she is one of my favorite gods, period, Hindu or not. So, yeah. So I'll just go over the basic facts. Hinduism, I'll just go over it all again and everything, just in one clean, sweep here. Hinduism has no founder. You don't have to believe in God to be Hindu, but a lot of Hindus do. In fact, they sometimes take in other gods, and they're very open to going to other temples, other churches and stuff. You can believe in Jesus and be Hindu. They really don't always have a problem with you practicing two religions at once. Because, in my view, Hinduism is about the connection with God, seeing God in all things, knowing that every creation is equal to you, and that you will all return to God one day, no matter what you call God. No religion is better than the other. How you practice it, maybe. Because some people do use their religion to fuel hatred. And this religion teaches, as long as it's practiced in love and equality, that's what Hinduism is supposed to teach, that any religion can be valid. So, yeah. Reincarnation over heaven and hell. No hateful God, that creates you one way and then hates you for it. It's just an open religion. And I really do look forward to learning more about it. So, I probably rambled on a lot. So, I'll leave this here.